Dr. Dre is forced to pay another $1.5 million in fees to his ex, Nicole Young. So let's get right into the story. So Dr. Dre has been ordered to pay 7 figures in legal fees to his estranged wife, Nicole Young, as their bitter divorce case continues to play out in Los Angeles, according to a ruling. And in the order, the judge in the divorce case ruled this week that the rapper and beats mogul should pay Nicole another $1.55 million in legal fees and costs after already forking over $2 million. So basically, in total, $3.55 million in this divorce. So the judge estimated that Nicole's reasonable legal fees in the case so far should total $3 million plus costs, and Dre will now have to pay $1 million towards the balance of her fees, plus another $550,000 in costs associated with the case, the judge ruled. The payment would be for fees and costs through July 2nd, 2021, but it's unclear what the eventual tab will be moving forward in the case. Young and her lawyers had previously said fees in the case were close to $4 million, and the court papers reflect that Young's legal tab can cost up to $1,100 per hour. She's being repped in the case by hotshot celebrity attorney Samantha Spector. Now, the judge further ruled, as had been previously ordered, that Dre should pay Nicole a $293,306 in monthly temporary spousal support, and that Dre must also pay for household costs, including security, insurance, gardening, taxes, repairs, and maintenance retroactive to September 1st, 2020. So that comes to $3,812,987 over the past year, and the judge estimated in the ruling, adding that the previously paid living expenses that Dre had turned over already may not have included all the costs for the home. The ruling also said that the parties must confer on any added expenses Dre owes Nicole on the household costs by next month. Now, Page 6 previously reported that Dre was ordered to pay the $293,306 per month in spousal support until Young remarries or enters into a domestic partnership, or unless the court orders otherwise at a later date. So pretty much, there's actually a decent chance that Dr. Dre is going to have to basically pay for her lifestyle forever, like for all of eternity, like for infinity. Yeah, that would be interesting. So Young, 51, first filed to divorce Dre, 56, in 2020. The couple was married for 24 years and has adult children. The estranged pair had been arguing in court over a prenup. So Dre's reported net worth is around $800 million, and the new court papers say that he has assets of $243 million. And reps for Dre did not immediately get back to us about the latest ruling, and that's to Page 6. Meanwhile, Dre also recently filed a separate lawsuit against Nicole for allegedly stealing about $350 million out of a recording studio business in Sherman Oaks, California, in which they were both involved. But sources told The Blast that Nicole had already returned the money in question and that it was taken out of an account the couple shared during their marriage, which she was entitled to do. Dre is being repped in the divorce case by attorney Ann Kiley, whose clients have included Brad Pitt. So, feel free to give your thoughts, right? Like, who do you think is right in this situation? Do you think Dre should have been forced to pay the $293,306 per month in temporary spousal support? Which, again, kind of funny how it says temporary spousal support when basically the wording of this whole divorce decree is that he could technically be forced to pay for her living expenses for the rest of her life. Like, just imagine that for a second. Imagine if you got married to someone, that person filed for divorce, and then you got forced to basically pay for their living expenses forever. Like, just think about that. Forever. And that's what makes this like really odd. But also what you can learn from this whole situation is that one of the biggest financial decisions in your life will be around marriage. Will be around who you marry, or if you are going to marry at all. And the thing you also got to understand too, depending on your state or country that you live in, it may not even take you marrying someone. It might just be a situation where you are living under the same roof as like your partner for like 2 years, and in the eyes of the state or country that you live in, that is deemed as the equivalent of being married. Thus, they are privy to half of your stuff. Now, of course, different states, different countries have different laws and rules about this. So if you are wanting to get married, you should probably look at the marriage laws within your state or country, because that one factor, that one choice could end up making or breaking your financial situation, right? Because it could be something like this one where you have a prenup actually made, but within the state that you are living in, it basically means nothing, right? And this is the thing about like California. Like California specifically tends to screw over the guy in almost every divorce case. Almost, right? Like it leans very heavy in the lady's favor, because I believe there was a story about someone who's very wealthy ended up basically having to pay for his ex-wife's living expenses forever, even though she got remarried and was sleeping with another person, you know, like basically her boyfriend and all that kind of stuff, right? It's just something like super odd. And they never had kids either, right? They never had kids, and the husband, ex-husband, right, had to pay for his ex-wife's living expenses forever, even though she got remarried. And they were living, well, like she was living with her new husband inside of her former husband's house, right? So she got the house for free, and she had her living expenses paid forever, even though they never even had kids. So it's very interesting to see what happens. But specifically in California, it's honestly a bad idea to actually get married, just because of how bad the laws are when it comes to divorce. In like, it's just not like an equal split of a situation, right? Like, divorce would be one thing if both parties just like do it very cordially, very respectfully, and be like, hey, we're getting a divorce, these are the reasons, and we're just going to either split the money or we're going to follow the prenup. But in California, that's not really the case, and you could pretty much get screwed every way, regardless of who you are or what the situation is. I believe you could probably be screwed over even if your partner were to have cheated on you. Basically, if it's a situation where like the husband files for divorce and the wife ends up basically cheating on him, and that's the reason for the divorce, and the guy, I believe, can still end up getting screwed over in that situation. By the way, it's very interesting. Feel free to give your thoughts about divorce or about this specific situation. But either way, this is one of the biggest financial decisions that you could possibly ever make. And speaking of financial decisions, if you want to learn how to get out of debt, go to 40inbox.com and learn the very simple way to get out of debt.